McGregor missed 3 attempted biological sample collections. Means Conor missed 3 drug tests. Within a 12-month period in 2024, which constitutes a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy.
Conor McGregor has been suspended for 18 months. I would like to explain to them that it's retroactive. So here it is from Uncrowned, the great Drake Riggs, writing, Conor McGregor's return to combat sports has been further delayed. On Tuesday, UFC announced that the former UFC featherweight and lightweight champion has been suspended for 18 months after violating the whereabouts policy under the promotion's anti-doping program.
Dana White just drops a massive bombshell message to Conor McGregor. And trust me, you need to hear this. Just when we thought the Notorious one was making his triumphant return to the octagon at the historic White House card, boom, an 18-month UFC ban drops like a bombshell. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming.
Conor McGregor has accepted an 18-month ban for violating the UFC's anti-doping policy. McGregor missed 3 attempted sample collections last year, leading to this ban. His period of ineligibility began on September the 20th, 2024, and will end on March 20th, 2026.
Let's get into what actually happened. The UFC officially announced that Conor McGregor has accepted an 18-month suspension for violating the UFC's anti-doping policy. But what does that really mean? According to Combat Sports Anti-Doping, that's CSAD, the new organization that replaced USADA, McGregor missed 3 attempted biological sample collections within a 12-month period in 2024. We're talking about June 13th, September 19th, September 20th.
McGregor missed tests which occurred June 19th, September 19, and September 20 of the year 2024.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Under UFC rules, fighters are classified as independent contractors, yet they must provide their exact whereabouts 24/7, 365 days a year. That means if you're going on vacation, hitting the gym in another city, or even taking a road trip, you must update the system or face the consequences. But here's the kicker that everyone's talking about. This ban is retroactive. It started on September 20th, 2024, which means it ends on March 20th, 2026. And guess what? That's just in time for the White House card, scheduled for June 14th, 2026.
His period of ineligibility began on September the 20th, 2024, and will end on March 20th, 2026. The standard ban was reduced from 24 months to 18 due to his cooperation and the fact that he was injured or not preparing for a fight at that time. This would not affect his potential availability for the UFC event at the White House, which President Donald Trump announced is set for June 14th next year. McGregor.
Coincidence? Many people, including top MMA journalist Ariel Helwani, are calling this performative and convenient. The original suspension was supposed to be 24 months, but it got reduced to 18 months due to McGregor's cooperation. How convenient is that? Now, let's rewind a few days before this ban was announced. Conor McGregor took to social media with some outrageous demands for his White House comeback fight. We're talking.
McGregor missed 3 testing samples within a 12-month window on the dates of June 13th, September 19th, and September 20th, 2024. McGregor, 37, was initially to be suspended for 24 months until further cooperation prompted a reduction down to 18 months. UFC stated his suspension will be retroactive to the last date of his missed testing.
$100 million. Yes, you heard that right. $100 million. 2. Fast-track visas for all his family and friends to attend the event. To put this in perspective, McGregor reportedly made around $30 million for his mega boxing match against Floyd Mayweather in 2017. Now he's demanding more than 3 times that amount for a UFC fight. But here's where the story gets messy. Just days before the ban announcement, McGregor went on Sean Hannity's show and declared with absolute confidence, "Done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House for America's 250th birthday. Me and Dana are in constant communication. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship."
It can ignite a support for the people of Ireland.
Is this a done deal?
Because we need.
Are you definitely
Is this a done deal? You're in? You
Done
made a
deal,
deal?
signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation.
Wow.
It's a done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's 200 for the America's 250th
Did you talk
birthday.
to Dana about it? Dana's got to sign off, I would imagine, no?
Me and Dana are in constant communications. We've done incredible business together. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They've just signed a breathtaking deal with Paramount where we go to cable TV, $7.7 billion that deal was accrued for, and ready to rock, baby. Bring in the big dog, the Mac G.
But then UFC President Dana White threw cold water on all of this. White stated clearly on Saturday, "I made it clear that Conor wants to fight on that card, and you can clearly see Conor is very fired up to fight on that card, but nothing is done yet. No fights are being negotiated with the White House."
I made it clear Conor wants to fight on that card, and you can clearly see Conor is very fired up to fight on that card, but nothing is done yet. And no fights are being negotiated with the White House.
And now we get to the part that has everyone talking. Dana White's message to Conor McGregor is loud and clear, even if it wasn't spelled out in a long statement. The actions speak louder than words. By announcing this 18-month ban publicly, by denying that any fight is signed, and by not backing up McGregor's claims about the White House card, but missing 3 drug tests, that crosses a line even Dana White can't ignore. Remember, the UFC has been under scrutiny for years about whether their anti-doping program is legitimate or just for show. If they gave McGregor a pass on this, it would destroy any credibility they have left.
That Conor McGregor has accepted an 18-month period of ineligibility for a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy. McGregor failed to provide accurate whereabouts on June 13th, September 19th, and September 20th, 2024 for test collection. He will be eligible to compete on March 20th.
Here's the cold hard truth. McGregor hasn't fought since July 2021 when he broke his leg against Dustin Poirier. That's almost 4 years without a fight. His value is still enormous. His fights generated over 12 million pay-per-view buys, but there's a limit to how much leverage he had.
He's got to go back to the couch. Oh, big left and now right. Bad. Oh my God. Dr. Poirier. Conor McGregor.
So can Conor still fight at the White House? Technically, yes. His ban ends March 20th, 2026, and the White House card is scheduled for June 14th, 2026, President Trump's 80th birthday and America's 250th anniversary celebration.
We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal, too.
And let's not forget, Khabib Nurmagomedov, McGregor's greatest rival, trolled him on Instagram by reposting news of the ban and cropping his face out. The disrespect is real, and it shows how far McGregor's star has fallen in some circles. If this fight does happen, who does he face? Michael Chandler has been waiting for years. That seems like the logical choice, but nothing is confirmed despite McGregor's claims.
Face off money. Yep, we got to come in face off. Yep.
Let's go. Let's go, Tom. Yeah. Yeah.
That was perfect. All right.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Yeah. I look forward to the fight. I wish it was right now.
Conor McGregor has accepted an 18-month ban that conveniently ends just before the White House card. He's demanding $100 million and special treatment for his family. He's claiming the fight is signed, but Dana White is saying not so fast.
Mark, easy, 100%.
Is it possible too?
No. If it clears Pacquiao numbers, which it will, which in my mind it already has, it will be 100 million. Factor the gate, factor the merchandise sales, factor all the pies that I have my hand in. I would clear the 100 million mark.
This situation perfectly illustrates the complicated relationship between the UFC's biggest star and the promotion itself. McGregor built the UFC into a global phenomenon, generating billions in revenue, but even he has to follow the rules, or at least be seen following them. The warning from Dana White is clear. No one is bigger than the sport, not even Conor McGregor. You can demand $100 million. You can claim fights are signed. You can call yourself the biggest star in UFC history. And you might even be right about that last part, but you still have to show up for drug tests.
Did you think that 100 million changed Conor? Does he still have the desire to go train and punch people in the face and get kicked in the face like he did when he was broke?
It's impossible for that money not to affect you and phase you. Once you start to make that kind of money and you want to say, well, it never changed me, it's impossible not to change.
Thanks for watching, and remember, in the fight game, the only thing guaranteed is that nothing is guaranteed. See you in the next one.
McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's 200 for the America's 250th birthday.
Did you talk to Dana about it? Dana's got to sign off, I would imagine, no?
Me and Dana are in constant communications. We've done incredible business together. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They've just signed a breathtaking deal with Paramount where we go to cable TV. $7.7 billion that deal was accrued for, and ready to rock, baby. Bring in the big dog, the Mac G.
Conor McGregor just dropped an absolute bombshell that has UFC and MMA fans in total shock. First, he claimed he wasn't negotiating with Dana White or the UFC, but instead directly with US President Donald Trump. Then, he demanded $100 million and even a platinum card. Now, he's suddenly saying his deal with the UFC is signed and done.
We've got our King of Violence world title on the line by the current champion, Michael Perry, the King of Violence, making his return. A man that, paved the way in the sport and rose up and done incredible things. Then he made an error and went a different way. A big mistake, in my opinion. But now he's back. People are underwriting him. He's got a big point to prove. And you know what's at stake, Michael? If you don't perform, you're gone.
But wait, that's not all. McGregor also teased a potential fight in BKFC against none other than Mike Perry, or even both at the same time. Could he really be serious about fighting inside the White House? Or is this just another mind game to keep fans guessing?
Question for Conor. Obviously, Conor, you become such a huge part of BKFC. I know there's all the talk about you eventually fighting for BKFC. Can I ask you, because we know you're going to fight Michael Chandler as the plan in the White House card, could you give me your 3-fight perfect plan to fight 2 more times in the UFC and then make that BKFC debut? Do you have a plan in mind?
I have 8 months and change out to the White House event. It's a 6-month operation. I consider it a 6-month operation to get ready for this bout. And that's my focus right now. I'm just eager to, climb the steps into being ready for my return. There's a lot at stake, and I'm very excited at the opportunity. I was right there with my last one. I was in incredible condition, incredibly well prepared, and just a slight lapse in concentration led to an injury. I wish to correct that and show what I'm about. And that's it. I'm eager to get back, and we'll see what the future holds after that.
You've become such a big part of BKFC. As you're getting back into fight mode, do you have to take a step back from the other businesses like BKFC, like Forged, just to get ready for a fight, or are you going to be able to kind of balance everything?
No, there will be a period of isolation for sure, where the phone will not be answered. And, all my people involved with me understand that it is coming. And as I said, it's a 6-month operation. I'm under no illusion of what lies ahead of me in my preparation efforts. So the phone will be switched off and the work will be executed.
And to make things even crazier, fresh rumors are swirling that Conor might be heading to WWE next. So what exactly is McGregor's endgame? Is he playing the UFC, chasing BKFC glory, or making a surprise move to pro wrestling?
Signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation. Wow. It's a done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's 200 for the America's 250th birthday.
That's right. McGregor isn't just talking about returning to the UFC. He's claiming the contract is signed for the most historic UFC event ever, a fight at the White House lawn on July 4th, 2026, celebrating America's 250th anniversary. But here's where it gets interesting. McGregor revealed he's been in constant communication with Dana White. And get this, he claims he's not just negotiating with the UFC. He says he's negotiating with the United States government on behalf of Ireland.
Doing pretty well. Things are going great. The White House, Dana White said, you and John Jones, that's a real deal. I'm going home. I'm going to get the head down. I'm going to rest. They're testing me. I'm in the pool. I always say, man, I thought that's what the pools are for, jumping in and out. But I'm back in the pool. So get ready and stay ready because damage will be done. Oval Office, White House guy.
McGregor emphasized his value to the UFC, calling himself the highest generating fighter of all time. And he's not wrong. 8 of the top 10 most watched UFC pay-per-views feature the Notorious one, including all of the top 7. His fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov pulled in 2.4 million pay-per-view buys. Now, we've heard McGregor talk big before, but this time, he's laying out a detailed preparation strategy that actually sounds, dare I say it, realistic. At a BKFC 82 media roundtable, McGregor broke down his training timeline. I have 8 months to go to the White House event. It's a 6-month operation. I consider it a 6-month process to prepare for this bout. That's my focus right now.
You know, I have 8 months and change out to the White House event. It's a 6-month operation. You know, I consider it a 6-month operation to get ready for this bout. And that's my focus right now.
McGregor says he's planning a period of complete isolation. No phone calls, no distractions, just pure training. He told reporters, there will be a period of isolation for sure, where the phone will not be answered. All my people involved with me understand it is coming. The phone will be switched off and the work will be executed.
Where the phone will not be answered. And, you know, all my people involved with me understand that it is coming. And as I said, it's a 6-month operation. I'm under no illusion of what lies ahead of me in my preparation efforts. So the phone will be switched off and the work will be executed.
This is significant because McGregor is addressing the elephant in the room, his lifestyle over the past few years, the parties, the controversies, the business ventures. He's acknowledging that this time, it needs to be different. McGregor also reflected on his last fight, that devastating leg break against Dustin Poirier in July 2021. He said, I was in incredible condition, incredibly well prepared, and just a slight lapse in concentration led to an injury. I wish to correct that and show what I'm about.
I was right there with my last one. I was in incredible condition, incredibly well prepared, and just a slight lapse in concentration led to an injury. I wish to correct that and show what I'm about.
4 years of waiting, 4 years of doubts. But now, McGregor sounds focused. The question is, will it actually happen this time? Here's the reality check, folks. Conor McGregor has a track record of pulling out, and the UFC knows it. Some reports suggest McGregor is demanding $100 million and 100 US golden visas to take this fight. Those are massive asks that haven't been publicly addressed by anyone but Conor himself.
I will clear the 100 million mark.
Easy.
100%.
Is it possible too?
No. If it clears Pacquiao numbers, which it will, which in my mind it already has, it will be 100 million. Factor the gate, factor the merchandise sales, factor all the pies that I have my hand in. I will clear the 100 million mark.
To Alex Poatan Pereira has become the UFC's ultimate insurance policy. Remember UFC 303? When McGregor pulled out with that broken toe? Who saved the event? Alex Pereira. He stepped in with just 15 days' notice to fight Jiri Prochazka and spectacularly defended his light heavyweight title. President Donald Trump, a longtime friend of Dana White, announced plans to host a UFC event at the White House to celebrate America's 250th birthday. This would be the first professional sporting event ever held at the White House.
So every one of our national park, battlefields, and historic sites are going to have special events in honor of America 250. And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight. Does anybody watch UFC, the great Dana White? We're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this, on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little, we're not, Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events, but the UFC fight's going to be a big deal too.
Dana White revealed that his team has already had meetings at the White House, looking at renderings and getting presidential approval. The plan includes an octagon on the South Lawn, under 5,000 people in attendance at the White House itself, a connected area that could hold 85,000 people with massive screens, a full stage with concerts. Taking over Washington, D.C. for an entire week, White said, "We're going to take over Washington, D.C. that whole week. This isn't just a fight, it's a festival."
So we went to the White House last week, me and my team, and we had the first meeting with him. We laid out all the renderings, and we started to get him to sign off on what he likes and doesn't like, and he loved it. So, yeah, now we're diving in head first. Now all the work starts. This last time I was at the White House, I went up on the roof, and they got snipers with 50 cals all over the roof of the White House, and it's pretty crazy. But yes, I mean, the security is going to be a massive issue because at the end of the day, Secret Service's job is to protect the president. We're going to take over Washington, D.C. that whole week.
This is huge for McGregor. He's the biggest pay-per-view star in UFC history. His fights have generated 12.7 million PPV buys total, but now that model is gone. McGregor acknowledged this, saying, "The entire landscape of the UFC model, the pay-per-view model, is now complete, so I must enter into something new."
The entire landscape of the UFC model, the pay-per-view model is now complete. So I must enter into something new. And
for Chandler, this is the biggest payday of his career and a chance to become a megastar by beating McGregor in what could be the most watched UFC event of all time.
I look forward to the fight. I wish it was fight now.
What do you think? Will Conor McGregor actually make it to the octagon at the White House? Or will Alex Pereira have to save the day again? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our coverage when this story develops.
And see Uganda. Like who you think who will win is the winner. Something that interests me.
God, Ali. It's a tough fight, you know. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys. And I think Gon is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom. You know, so first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Cyril Gon. So I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see. Really don't know. We'll have to see. You know, obviously my body gets heavier. I don't know how long I can cut to 205. So we're just going to have to see and take it fight by fight.
Alex Poatan Pereira just dropped a massive bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the heavyweight division. The light heavyweight king has a stark warning for Tom Aspinall ahead of UFC 321. Alex Pereira's shocking prediction for the UFC 321 heavyweight title fight between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane. Poatan didn't hold back, and what he said might just change how you see this matchup. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Alex Pereira, fresh off preparing for his own UFC 320 rematch with Magomed Ankalaev, took time during a media scrum to deliver a prediction that nobody saw coming. But Pereira, he sees something completely different. Through his translator, Poatan laid it out clearly. This is going to be a tough night for Tom Aspinall. Here's exactly what he said. It's a tough fight. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of moving. He's going to be a little more cautious, and that moving around a lot might frustrate Tom.
It's a tough fight, you know. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys. And I think Gon is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom.
But wait, it gets even more interesting. Pereira continued. First, second, third round. Maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane. I think it's going to be a different fight.
So first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Ciryl Gane. So I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
One of the most devastating strikers in UFC history is telling us that Tom Aspinall might spend 3 rounds chasing Gane around the octagon without being able to land that signature knockout blow. That's a huge statement, and if that wasn't enough, Alex Pereira took to Twitter to double down on his prediction, sending a direct message to the MMA world. But here's where it gets really interesting. Tom Aspinall himself seems to agree that this won't be a typical fight. In an exclusive interview with Bloody Elbow, Tom Aspinall revealed something that backs up Pereira's prediction. He believes Ciryl Gane has been working on the holes in his ground game, and he wouldn't be surprised if Gane tries to take him down. Aspinall said, "I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to take me down. It's MMA, so I'm preparing for everything. We've seen that Ciryl has holes in his ground game, but he's improved."
And I think that Ciryl is no exception, but obviously there are some weaknesses in his ground game that we've seen, but I'm sure he's improved. You know what I mean? This is an MMA fight. It can go anywhere, so I'm sure we'll both be ready for anything.
Now that's a plot twist. Everyone remembers Gane being out-wrestled by Francis Ngannou and submitted by John Jones in his previous title shots. His ground game has been his Achilles heel, but if Aspinall is preparing for grappling exchanges, that tells us Gane's camp has been cooking up something special. Aspinall continued, "I wouldn't be surprised if we get in a lot of grappling exchanges this time, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have a straight-up stand-up fight either. You've got to be ready for anything in MMA, and I'm preparing for everything." This is the mark of a true champion, respecting your opponent's evolution. Aspinall isn't overlooking Gane. He knows this is his toughest test yet, and he's preparing for every scenario. The question is, will preparation be enough against Gane's elite movement? Tom Aspinall walked into a hostile environment in the French capital, and let me tell you, the Parisian crowd showed up for their hometown hero, Ciryl Gane. Aspinall tried to kick things off with a simple statement. I mean, there was nobody else to fight, and that's when the boos came raining down. The crowd drowned him out completely.
I mean, there was nobody else to fight.
When they finally let him speak, Aspinall delivered a classic line. If I hit anybody, I can knock anybody out. Ciryl is no exception. Then he added, it's rare to see 2 heavyweights our size move like we do. This is the new age of heavyweights.
No, I think if I hit anybody, I can knock anybody out. It's pretty rare that you see any guys of our size that move like we do. So I think this is really like the new age of the heavyweights.
And Gane? Cool as ice. He simply said, he's never fought someone like me. I bring something different.
Never fought someone like me, though. I bring something very different. I've got my own.
Both fighters are 6'5". Both are mobile. Both are dangerous. But only one can leave Abu Dhabi as champion. So we've heard from Pereira. We've heard from the fighters themselves. But what about the people who train with Aspinall every single day? Martin Boudet, a frequent training partner of Aspinall and part of that heavyweight megacamp that includes longtime KSW champion Phil DeFries, had this to say. I love Tom Aspinall and like his team, his father, like everyone in that team. I think he will secure like spectacular win and finish in that and like defend the title.
Like I love Tom Aspinall and like his team, his father, like everyone in that team. So I'm really looking up to that fight and I will be cheering for Tom. I think he will secure like a spectacular win and finish in that and like defend the title.
Now Boudet is obviously biased. These are his training partners, his friends. But what's interesting is that even someone in Aspinall's inner circle is predicting a spectacular finish, not necessarily a quick one. Could this be a war that ends dramatically in the later rounds? And here's a fun fact. If Aspinall wins at UFC 321 and Boudet captures the Octagon MMA heavyweight belt in his upcoming fight with Will Fleury, Team Aspinall would hold major heavyweight belts across multiple organizations worldwide. Talk about dominance.
Last minute. Full drop. Last minute.
So, let's break this down. What do we really have here? On one side, you have Tom Aspinall, a 15-3 fighter who's been an absolute wrecking ball, finishing opponents faster than they can blink. He's got power, he's got submission skills, and he's got the heavyweight gold around his waist.
Low kick as well.
On the other side, you have Cyril Gane, a 13-2 fighter with some of the best footwork and striking in the heavyweight division. Yes, he's lost 2 title fights, but both were against all-time greats in Ngannou and Jones. And now, he's had time to shore up his weaknesses. Here's what makes this fight so intriguing. Aspinall has been knocking out aggressive, come-forward fighters. But Gane is the opposite. He's elusive, patient, and tactical. Can Aspinall adjust his game to catch a fighter who doesn't want to engage in a firefight? But what do you think? Is Pereira right? Will Gane's movement frustrate Aspinall and take this fight into the championship rounds? Or will Aspinall prove everyone wrong and score another first-round knockout? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest MMA news and analysis.
Você, Poatan, você está certo. Eu não vou ter nenhuma palavra a dizer, porque você vai acabar dormindo depois que ter que trabalhar na borracharia de novo.
Ah, pode ser, né? Tá vendo? O cara fala besteira. Eu nem tinha visto isso aí, velho. De verdade.
Eu tô ligado.
Pô, juro pelos meus filhos, velho. Não tinha visto. Aí eu fiquei pensando, né, velho? O cara chegar ao ponto de se esconder dentro do PI com medo. Eu achei, não, de verdade. Eu achei que, tipo, o UFC ali, pô. E olha só, quando a gente chegou um segurança depois. E aí eu falei, pô, nunca teve isso, velho. Tipo, pô, eu nunca demonstrei que eu queria tretar, nunca fiz isso.
De boa,
aí eu fiquei ali na minha. Mas agora eu consigo entender que o cara fala bosta e depois ele. Porque, tipo assim, eu no lugar dele eu falar uma parada, mano, eu vou segurar a parada e vou ficar ali, entendeu? Não vou sair pro cara ficar à vontade aqui, não, entendeu? E, pô, de verdade, eu segurava o BO, entendeu? Mas o ponto de o cara se esconder numa sala, velho, porque uma coisa até engraçada que aconteceu ali agora, na saída do PI, né? Eu vi ali o treinador do Ankalaev, eu fiquei ali na minha, mas não vi o Ankalaev. O engraçado foi na hora que eu saí do PI, aí quando eu cheguei no carro, né? Um cara do meu time, né? Tava lá dentro ainda, né? E viu, tipo, a menina do PI falando pro Ankalaev, pode vir, ele já foi embora já. Tipo, porra, escondendo o cara, se escondendo o cara na salinha ali, velho. O cara acha que eu vou encontrar ele e vou sair brigando com o cara, velho. Pô, não sou idiota, né, velho?
Mas será que não foi o que ele falou na internet?
Eu não sei o que ele falou, não.
Você, Poatan, você está certo. Eu não vou ter nenhuma palavra a dizer, porque você vai acabar dormindo depois que ter que trabalhar na borracharia de novo.
Ah, pode ser, né? Tá vendo? O cara fala besteira. Eu nem tinha visto isso aí, velho. De verdade.
Eu tô ligado.
E, pô, de verdade, eu segurava o BO, entendeu? Mas o ponto de o cara se esconder numa sala, velho, porque eu tô no mesmo ambiente, velho. Ah, pô, o cara é um frouxo, velho. Esse é um frouxo, pô. Eu vou ficar na minha ali, entendeu? Eu nunca vou, tipo, arrumar uma confusão com o cara, nunca vou chegar. Lógico, a não ser que o cara venha pra cima, tá ligado? Tá, eu tenho que me defender também, né? Mas aí, tipo, que campeão é esse, velho? Que campeão de merda, velho. Aí, Achei a única besteira que eu falei, velho. Mas é um campeão de merda, velho. Um cara desse. Mas sabe por quê? Não pelo que ele fala. Mas hoje tem que se esconder numa sala,
né?
velho. Demonstrou que é um cagão, velho. Vamos ver. Vamos ver. Porra, se escondendo agora, mas porra, a gente vai dar na jaula lá, velho. Trancado lá, velho. Não vai ter. A não ser que ele vai pular a grade, velho. Ah, um campeão de merda, um cara desse, velho. Pô. Chama!
Sit down, sit down. Go.
Tonight, we dive deep into the brewing storm between former two-division champion Alex Poatan Pereira and current light heavyweight king Magomed Ankalaev. What started as professional rivalry has erupted into personal warfare just days before their highly anticipated UFC 320 rematch on October 4th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Our top story tonight centers around a shocking encounter at the UFC Performance Institute that has sent shockwaves through the MMA community.